These 10-year-old girls at Sephora are crazy, but what's crazier are the parents that aren't parenting.
10-year-olds are now going into Sephora and spending thousands of dollars on super high-end makeup and skincare brands, and I think we need to talk about it. I have seen this throughout my whole entire For You page. Everybody is talking about these Sephora kids. Kids are not going through that preteen awkward phase anymore. No, they're going straight into adulthood, and I think that's all due to social media's influence. Instagram didn't even come out until I graduated from high school. I did not have access to social media except for MySpace and Facebook when I was in high school. Because of that, we didn't have any social media influence. We didn't have anything to compare ourselves to, and we weren't for sure getting $80 moisturizers from Drunk Elephant. That also made me think about the types of brands that I used to have when I was 10 years old. Claire's was it. It was the hot spot for all things beauty, all things makeup. I used to be obsessed with these little rolling train cases or the little trunks that came with makeup sets in them. They were not good quality at all. I mean, even at the time, I knew that they were kind of bad. If you guys are old enough, you'll know that nostalgia. Like, you can just feel the wax like on your lips. All the glitter eyeshadow was purely just dipped in Vaseline, I swear. The one good thing that came out of Claire's makeup though is those glitter roll-on sticks. I think those are making a comeback. I used to love using those all the time. It had so many varieties of colors, so many varieties of options, and it really gave kids a really great way to experiment into that makeup realm without having super high-end luxury products. Kids that age, if you're 10, are going to destroy things. Like, they're not going to keep things in nice, pristine conditions because they're 10 years old. They have no value of money. They have no value of what nice items are. They don't know how to take care of those items yet. That's why parents gave their kids Claire's makeup. Well, nowadays, it's like taking a whole different turn, obviously, and now parents are taking their kids into places like Sephora. It wasn't even a gradual progression, guys. I mean, it was like immediately, you turn 10, we're going to Sephora.
If you had a choice between 2 minutes getting anything you wanted or 10 items, which would you choose?
2 minutes.
Okay, let's go. Go.
I wanted to see if she would engage in a Veblen-esque gorge and purchase Drunk Elephant and Glow Recipe because of the colorful packaging. Grace is only 6, so I don't let her watch social media. She does not have her own accounts, and I have no intention to let her be on social media until she's at least 15 or 16. But I was really curious as a marketing girly if these kids are flocking towards these specific products in drones because of how they look, or if it's because of cultural influences and the social validation they get from using them. In 2 minutes, Grace only picked out 4 products: a Charlotte Tilbury highlighter, NARS lipstick, a lip gloss that smelled like watermelon, and something else. And I was a bit disappointed, so I actually let her spend more time shopping. And I was not surprised that she did not gravitate towards the Drunk Elephant. I actually had to steer her in that direction. We did get a Glow Recipe moisturizer, but she just wanted face masks and lip gloss. The 4 items she picked during her 2-minute shopping spree came to $142.51, and then when I let her keep shopping, she spent an additional $248.86.
The other issue that comes along with this is the fact that parents are letting their kids do this. I understand that parents have always given some sort of allowance to kids, which I have a very different opinion amongst other people about this. In my personal opinion, I don't really believe in paying them or giving them some sort of incentive, especially a monetary incentive, to do the things they're already supposed to do, such as doing chores or getting good grades in their report cards. I mean, I used to see parents, even when I was growing up, pay their kids upwards of like $20 for each A that they got in their report card. But that is a whole entire other topic of debate. Like, I could go on about that for a while. Back to my original topic on this though, a lot of the times these parents on TikTok are rewarding them for good behavior, or they're rewarding them for just doing chores around the house. But I'm sorry, some of these parents are going on over $500 to $1,000 shopping sprees at Sephora with their kids. How much money are you giving them?
So the other day when I was working, we were kind of busy, and this little girl walks up to me, and her basket is literally overflowing. She had to have been maybe 9, 10, maybe 11 years old, but regardless, definitely way too young to be shopping at Sephora. And I start grabbing the items out so I could scan them, and before I can start, she goes, "Wait, I have 2 perfumes on hold. Can you get those too?" So I go grab her perfumes, and then she goes, "Can you scan those first so I can see how much they are?" So I proceed to scan the 2 perfumes, and the 2 perfumes alone came out to $300. So after she saw the price of the 2 perfumes, I guess that wasn't enough. So she was like, "Okay, yeah, you can scan the rest of the items in the basket." She's by herself. So I'm kind of just like, who's with her? Like, did she come with a sister, a friend, her mom? Like, who is this little girl with? So I finished scanning all her products, and her total came out to almost $900. She looks at me and she kind of gives me like a nervous kind of look. She's like, And in my head, I'm like, girl, yeah, what did you think the total was going to come out to? So I see her look to her left. To the left, I see that there's an older lady who is her mom and a younger girl, which is her sister. And they're checking out at the register like 2 down from me. And the little girl calls the sister over, and the sister's like, what? Like, how much is it? And she's like, well, how much was yours? And the sister goes, 500. She said that so normal. Like, she literally looked at her and said, yeah, $500. So the one that I'm helping out goes, well, mine is almost $900. So then her sister is like, well, do you have enough? And she was like, no, but I'm probably just going to use mom's money. And she goes, sorry, can you give me 1 second? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So she calls her mom over, and the mom like looks at me and she smiles, and then she looks down and goes, wait, how much is it? And the little girl tells her. The mom literally freaked out. She was like, what? No way you're about to spend $900. Which in my head, I'm like, period. Like, thank you for putting her in place. Anyways, the mom is furious, and the little girl is just looking at her like, what? Like, yeah, bitch, I'm gonna spend $900. Like, I don't know what you're looking at. So I'm kind of just looking at them like, what do I do? And then the mom goes, take something out. The little girl lost her mind. She's like, no, I'm not taking anything out. And the mom was like, no, you're gonna take something out, because what even is in there? So she's like, what even is that? And the little girl's like, it's a flower bomb. I don't even know what a flower bomb is, but apparently it was a perfume. And the mom's like, you literally already have 2 other perfumes. Like, why do you need another one? And the little girl's just like, because I want it. Growing up, if I ever said anything like that to my mom, it's a wrap. It's a wrap, because we're not getting anything at Sephora anymore, and I'm going home to get my ass beat. So time goes on, they're arguing back and forth, and the little girl kind of is just, she's not having it. She's like, I'm not putting anything back. Like, no. So finally the little girl's like, okay, fine, I'll take it out. And she takes it out, and then she goes, but that's the last thing I'm taking out. I'm not taking anything else out. This is the problem. The problem isn't the kids, it's the parents. Because why aren't you guys sitting there saying, you know, holding your ground? Like, these iPad kids, these little girls have never heard the word no, and they kind of just get what they want so they can shut up and the parents can move on with their day. Okay, so then once she removes the perfume, the total was still at like $700. And the mom's like, take something else out. And the little girl's like, no, I already told you I'm not taking anything else out. And then, you know, me trying to like be nice and also get this line moving, I'm just like, hey, like, I see that you have 3 Glossier lip products, like, and they're all the same flavor. Like, did you want all 3? And the mom looks at me kind of like saying like, thank you. And then looks at the little girl and she's like, yeah, I know that there's 3. I said, you're right. There's 3. I'm sorry. Stupid fucking thing of me to say. Like, there's 3 and there's a reason there's 3. So I'm so sorry. You're right. So then I just shut the fuck up. Long story short, after minutes and minutes of arguing, the little girl ended up spending $500 at Sephora instead of almost $900, and the mom was okay with that.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, that's their hard-earned money per se. Technically, you are the one that's giving them money. So I feel like it's more so the parents rather than them actually earning it from outside sources. And then there's also the parents who are completely out of their minds and are just giving their kids their credit cards alone. Like, they're sending their 10-year-olds off in a group by themselves to just wreak havoc around Sephora stores. This is where a lot of the Sephora employees have gone onto TikTok and ranted about this. The amount of disrespect that kids nowadays have for other people in society, and also the freaking testers in the Sephora stores. Adults are bad enough. I've worked in an Ulta store and I've worked for MAC before. I can tell you right now that adults over the age of 18 are really rude to testers. These 10-year-olds are coming into groups. They are pumping the shit out of all these testers, squirting moisturizers all over the place, not putting things back where they are, and they're giving the Sephora employees hell. This is the equivalent of 10-year-olds playland. This is all toys. We can all play with this. 10-year-olds do not know how expensive these products are because they do not know the value of money. If you actually ask a 10-year-old how much that you think a perfume is, for instance, they might say $100,000. Completely serious, because they just don't know how much things are actually supposed to cost, and they're 10 years old. They're not supposed to. They're supposed to be innocent, having fun with Claire's makeup and trying to avoid being bullied in middle school. Preteen stage is gone, okay? We're just skipping directly from childhood to adulthood, and this is where we're at right now.
Tell me how. I went to Sephora yesterday and there was like a whole bunch of like little 10, 12-year-old girls, little preteen girls getting Drunk Elephant, Charlotte Tilbury, all of like the super expensive skincare and makeup products. And it got me thinking, I'm here like, wow, like these girls are never gonna get the feeling of like entering womanhood. For me, it went like Claire's, then Ulta, then Sephora. Like I just started shopping at Sephora. Don't get me wrong, I still love Ulta. That's like besides the point. But these girls, like they don't have a preteen stage the way we had a preteen stage. I remember back in 2013, I was like 13, and I wanted like this bow from Claire's, like because Ariana Grande was super big, and she like that's when she used to do like her little bows, and I begged my mom for this little bow. Those bows were like $5 each. They were so expensive. I remember that's like all I wanted was like little bows. Now little girls want retinol. Like what do you need retinol at age 11 for?
And let's talk about another point with this. Just the fact that kids these days are growing up with social media. Their transition into the preteen stage happened during the panorama, and I cannot say the actual word. It's the thing that happened in 2020. That is when these kids were overall growing up. They grew up with TikTok, they grew up with Instagram. Teen girls already have enough problems. Besides just experiencing hormonal changes, mood swings, figuring out who the hell you are at that age, because I for sure know that I was having some sort of weird identity crisis in middle school. You get bullied in middle school sometimes. There's also homework, public speeches, which were the bane of my existence. There's cliquey groups of friends, being outcasted from those friends, having crushes in school. Like there are so many other things that people in their age group need to worry about, and having these outrageous beauty standards on top of it is just adding to a very dangerous pot. I can't even imagine what kind of peer pressure and social pressure and beauty pressure that these kids are growing up with nowadays. This is their normal, guys. They think that having thousands of dollars of Drunk Elephant skincare and thousands of dollars of rare beauty makeup is a normal thing. Being that this content is all that kids are consuming nowadays, they feel the pressure to be like these other kids because they don't want to be outcast. And there is that FOMO, which is fear of missing out. They don't want to be the people that are missing out on something trendy because nobody wants to be unpopular in school.
I would have really hated to be a preteen at this time and age because I wouldn't have been able to afford nothing that these little girls are affording. But two, like, where the fuck are the parents? Like, why are you guys buying your daughters $30 moisturizers and $45 retinols when they truly don't need that? Let your baby girls be girls. Let them play with toys. I don't know. Let them listen to boy bands. Like, why the fuck are they engaging in this shit? Why are they engaging in overconsumption? Let kids be kids again.
Besides just the concept of having access to social media, they're also having access to all the editing filters. Do you guys remember when everybody was freaking using these dog filters all over the place? Not only was it cute because you had puppy ears and the mouth and the tongue and everything, that people used that filter because it smoothed their skin. It made their skin look poreless, flawless, and people like that. There's kids nowadays that are growing up with all of these filters. They, of course, will think that their skin looks really bad because they're used to seeing their filtered skin all the time. But really, there's nothing wrong with their skin. So now we get to the point where the real problem comes into play. I'm currently in school for my esthetician's license, and because of that, I am really getting into skincare, ingredients, all the chemicals that go into it. And after seeing all this that's exploded on TikTok recently, it's really made me angry to like another level. That I realized how many bad ingredients are in some skincare brands, how many chemicals there are, and how much that skincare can actually damage your skin if you're not careful with it. My whole thing is these 10-year-olds are buying skincare. Their parents are allowing them to. They're just putting all of these chemicals on their face, and they're probably not using the correct amounts either. There is obviously quantities on the bottle, but I'm sorry, if kids are not regulated by their parents with this, they're gonna overuse it because they're kids and they don't know any different. Also makes them go through the products faster, and then the parents are having to rebuy them again, which they don't have an issue with apparently. I feel like parents really need to educate themselves before they let their kids buy something. You wouldn't just let your kid go over and touch an electrical socket or drink bleach because you know it's dangerous for them, right? It's the same thing with skincare. Skincare ingredients can be just as toxic. They're chemicals. They're putting chemicals on their faces like glycolic acid, salicylic acid, retinol treatments, AHAs, BHAs. There's all sorts of dangerous type of ingredients that if not done in the right quantities, it can be detrimental to their skin. And because of this, 10-year-olds are now ruining their skin, which was probably okay to begin with. Yes, I am a very big advocate of it's never too early to start skincare, but 10-year-olds do not need a whole entire 15-step Korean skincare routine. Kids that age, if anything, probably just need a good cleanser, sunscreen, and moisturizer. Like, that's all that they really need. They don't need these serums, they don't need these chemical peels, they don't need all of these masks and treatments and everything, because why would you need that at 10 years old?
I just died a little. Why does this adorable 11-year-old need makeup and the skincare routine, which is more complicated than mine?
In my professional experience as a makeup artist for the past going on 9 years now, I know firsthand that adults even are not very educated with skincare. A lot of the times when I get clients in my chair, they will tell me that they have sensitive skin, but they can't tell me a specific ingredient or have it narrowed down to anything. And to be totally honest, as a makeup artist, that serves me no purpose. How am I supposed to eliminate what you're sensitive to if you don't even know what you're sensitive to? It is really hard to narrow down specific ingredients unless you do an actual allergy test, but you could use them one at a time and then figure out which one of those by process of elimination irritates you. I've had people that are allergic to aloe, I've had people that are allergic to hyaluronic acid, and both of those ingredients are very, very prominent in moisturizers. A lot of the times people don't take the time to educate themselves because it takes time. But why wouldn't you educate yourself on skincare? Because you are overall really hurting your skin if you're not using the right things for your skin or your skin type, and maybe you're using chemicals or ingredients that are really sensitizing your skin more. And again, if these people are now the ones that are passing this lack of knowledge down to their kids and just letting their kids run amok in Sephora and getting all these skincare products that they personally don't know anything about, it's a recipe for disaster. The other thing I'd really like to add to this fear of missing out situation that kids have nowadays, when you're in that age group around 10-ish years old, you're already societally getting compared to other teenagers. All these kids will be asking their parents for this Drunk Elephant skincare. Their parents might not be able to give it to them because of being in a lower tax bracket. What if these parents can't afford it and can't give their kids what they want? Not only is this kid dealing with really low self-esteem because they have this FOMO, but now these parents are also dealing with a super upset, dare I say, depressed child, which you should never be at 10 years old. On the other hand though, if parents are in that lower income bracket and they're still buying their kids this stuff because they want them to fit in and they want their kids to have what other kids have, they might also be going through financial stress themselves. And that's wrong on so many levels too. So the whole wrap up I want to have for this video is advice to the parents out there. Number one, I think that parents should be monitoring all of the content that their kids are consuming, whether it's putting parental controls or age restrictions on things. I mean, TikTok and Instagram both have 18 years old age restrictions because of this reason. They should be enjoying their youth. The more that their kids are consuming this type of content, the more things that they're going to want and the more normal it's going to become to them. Their whole entire universe is basically going to be warped into this weird dystopian universe because they don't actually know what they're supposed to be like. It's just wild. The whole entire concept is just wild. Besides beauty content, they also should be following other accounts too. Like, make sure their For You page isn't just flooded with all beauty accounts. They should also be maybe involved in like comedy accounts or funny animal accounts, because I love watching funny animal compilations. My husband and I are always sending really funny dog compilations to each other. Have your kids follow something other than just beauty accounts, because if that's all they're seeing, it's going to really go to their heads. The other thing that I already went over is educate yourselves as parents over the makeup and the skincare especially. Please don't just let your kid buy whatever they want because of the fact that the packaging looks pretty or because all the other kids are jumping on board with it. Please do your research, because you will ruin your 10-year-old's face unnecessarily. Allergies are not just for adults. Kids are not impervious to it. I do have a closing question for you guys that I really want to create a discussion about in the comments section, but please be respectful. Do you think that this is the responsibility of the brands, such as age restrictions or label warnings, or do you think it's the responsibility of the parents to take care of this? Let me know in the comments. That's about it. So I hope you guys are doing really well. Don't forget to like the video if you guys haven't already, and if you guys want to see more content from me, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. And as always, I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. All right, bye.